And greetings and welcome to the QCast. This is season 5, episode 60, and all-time episode number 200. Folks, the QCast started January 18th, 2021. It was during the that awful pandemic season that teams played a smattering of games. And for the first guest was Ron Rose of Illinois Wesleyan. Guest 100 was November 26th of 2023, and that was legendary Illinois Wesleyan coach Denny Bridges. And guest number 200 is also a legendary coach. Being recorded here today, July 26th of 2025, it is Mike Rejniak, the head coach of We Are D3, now into the Elite Eight of the basketball tournament. And Reg, what a run it has been. Congrats to you and the guys. How are we feeling there in Wichita?
Well, thanks, and a special company with number one and 100. Holy smokes! No, we're doing well. We're doing well. Everybody's here. Everybody's in. We got practice this afternoon, and we're just thriving in the heat here in Wichita.
By the way, thanks for the merch last year. I mean, that's a strong look. I may wear that all over Dallas today. I really
We
am
got some
liking the
good
look.
ones coming to you guys. We got some good ones coming.
It's really a fun time, Mike, when we think about this run. And the narrative, I guess, nationally, the people that pay attention is it, it's an underdog run.
Mhm.
But as I've watched the games, I think we were the better team than all three teams. I mean, I look on paper, you stack up credentials and everything. That's one thing.
Mhm.
But we also have a really talented group of guys that are kind of in their prime. Some of these guys, he was drafted 22nd in the NBA draft, and he's also 35 years old or something like so. I don't know. I think in terms of talent, in terms of where our guys are, I think in terms of the cohesiveness of the team, maybe more than anything, and maybe what they're playing for, kind of like identity. I
Mhm.
don't feel like any of these games have been an enormous upset. Maybe Boeheim's Army on their floor
Mhm.
upset, okay, but do you feel the same way? Or I mean, these last two, have these been big upsets to you? Talk to me about that.
Um, to be honest, like obviously every team is good. Um, we've done TBT a while, so the names don't scare me anymore. And not to say that they scared me before, but you're like, holy smokes, we're playing Kansas,
Right.
and like, but we've been so battle tested in years prior, and this year, like, I've never been as calm as I have been during this run, largely because of the confidence I have in my staff and the players. We're all kind of doing our roles, but also our preparation. Um, and going into UConn the other day, like even when they went up by 13, kind of like very similar with Boeheim's Army. I just knew like we didn't play our best, and if we got back to playing our ball, it was going to look favorable for us. And I thought at the end of that UConn game, quite frankly, I thought they quit. I thought we mentally broke them. I thought the coaches were complaining to the officials too much. Same with the players. And the minute that started happening, really in the fourth quarter, I knew we had them because they were so focused on that versus the X's and O's. So I thought our guys did a great job of staying the course there. So does it surprise me, being, it's like an NCAA tournament. I think it's,
Right.
any game you can go home. Um, but I feel like the comfortability with the team and the staff and what we do, um, it doesn't surprise me, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. Yeah, that's kind of the same way I look at it. You mentioned the game against Stars of Storrs, the Yukon based team. And yeah, we were in trouble early. I remember thinking down 13, this was going to go either way. But the evidence from the game prior was that we're pretty good at battling back. And we had shot the ball terribly, is what I would say. I mean, shots that normally go in were not going in, mid-range 3-pointers.
Mhm.
Your bench, I thought that the way you used your bench was the key to the entire
Mhm.
UConn game. A guy I want to talk about is David Murray.
Mhm.
He had a fantastic game. He obviously had the game winner. Got a great pass from Sam Peak. Easy one to end the game. It was what he did before then, I thought, that was the most impressive. Talk about your decision to play David Murray the minutes you did and kind of how he performed.
Well, I think like what's very unique about us, and everybody knows this that's been watching our games, is we've been trying different players in different moments and trying to see which matchup kind of works. And we got three different, very different bigs with Sobel, Parker, and Murray.
Yep.
And sometimes we put in Willoughby at the five as well. To go a little bit small ball. But with Murray, going with him, he's just got that natural kind of touch around the rim.
He
He's not
does.
gonna, he's just kind of a good finisher. Can got some meat on the bone, so he can take the hits and kind of guard,
Yeah,
solid. And our guards are crafty enough where we know you're going to try and trap Ty and Marcus. That's not a surprise. And to be honest, like teams are, it's like pick your poison. You either guard them one on one or you trap them and they pick you
sure.
apart. And what was very definitive was they would start to trap Ty and Marcus, and they're not good at it. And he was just dropping off to Murray, and Murray's just getting like it's like Mike intro. It's like he's just very good at finishing around the rim. So we saw that was going to be kind of a really beneficial. We started that at the end of the second quarter there, and then I decided to kind of ride that group, into the third as well, and it proved very beneficial. One of the coolest things during that was we were going to sub in. I wanted to sub in Demetrius Underwood. And if this isn't like a telltale sign of a team, I don't know what is. He literally told me, he goes, Coach, keep me out, ride this group because we're in a run and we're in a good spot.
That's awesome.
That never happens with pros,
That's great.
ever. And so like that I think was an underlying what a great leadership for
Yeah.
Demetrius. And it's going to prove like that's that type of character trait that we have that other teams don't.
Another guy I thought that played well in the minutes that he was in there, Hank Morgan. You've got these interchangeable wing players. They're all similar, except they probably have one or two things about their game that are a little bit different. And Hank Morgan knocked down a big shot from the right corner in the first half.
Mhm.
During that period of time that you're clawing back,
Mhm.
um, you do have a really versatile group. Deciding between Hank Morgan and Tom Corey and Jackson Mechanic. And so like
Mhm.
you have a luxury on your hands of figuring out how to mix and match these guys. Talk about that, Mike.
Yeah, it's all about matchups, right? And with the young guys like Hank, Sami, Christian, Murray too, first time. It's kind of like the first couple minutes, they're almost like baby deer kind of learning how to walk, and then they start to get their confidence under them and kind of figuring out different roles. Like, Hank, we don't need you to score 20 points a game for us to win. We need you just to be solid and do your role. And he's so smart at understanding
Yeah.
that. There's been times where we've gone heavily with Tom Quarry and he crashes the glass and can hit the three. I'm waiting for I we keep talking about Jackson Mechanic, and he hasn't gotten the love in terms of minutes, but I know they're coming for him. I know they are because he's just such a unique skill set to that group, and we're gonna need that
Right.
from him when it comes time. And it may be against Fail Harder, I don't know. But I feel like those three guys, and I would also toss in Sam Peak in that group, they're kind of all like
Yeah.
versatile wings, but just something's different about each and every one of them, which is kind of when we were talking about roster, myself, David Clark, and Jay and Malik, we're talking about what each player brings to the equation, and we're always looking for people ask like how do you get on the team? Well, it's like really those little things that you
Yeah.
do differently that I know when it comes time to certain situations I can call upon that, like a Willoughby to get a rebound, and and you'll perform and do that role. But I thought Hank, he's so smart. We talk about kind of maybe, pressuring the post, and he's kind of getting tips on it and doing running the floor really well. I think he had a couple blocks, in that game because he's closing out so hard with his long hand. And I thought he did phenomenal.
And you talk about Sam Peak, and he does have a similar skill set as some of those other wings. What's cool though is when we talked about like the roster and having like older guys and then some that are younger guys, you can tell that Sam Peak has played at a high level. Like when Sam's in there, he has a similar skill set to, say Hank.
Mhm.
But he's got a little bit of mojo and experience that you can tell in these big moments. He hit a really big three. The play
Mhm.
that ended the game, getting himself to the basket and dishing it. He's averaging 10.7 points, 6.7 rebounds, and an assist.
Mhm.
He's not jumping off the stat sheet to the masses, but I think he is such a weapon on your
Mhm.
team. And in big moments, I would trust him to be taking whatever shot he wants to take. Like he's been really good for you.
Yeah, and I think like I wanted him last year, but he had summer league with the NBA.
Sure.
Um, all the one thing that he has that, like you said, that Hank doesn't is just that experience piece. That's the only thing. Like
Yeah.
they're both very similar skill sets.
Yeah.
But Peak, he can hit the three. He's a career 40% three, but he's also got that drive with like little teardrop,
Yeah.
types of stuff. Like he's very crafty and comfortable in his frame and skin. And I think like he provides that versatility that we need. Like literally I can play him two through two, three, four. I would feel comfortable, going small and playing him at the five because he's
Absolutely.
just that can stretch it. But I think like having him this year, that's a weapon along with the others that we have, to be honest, we've never had. But I think like the combination of him, Morgan, Mechanic, Corey, I feel really comfortable
Yeah.
in that forward wing spot with any of them, quite frankly.
We talked a lot about Ty Nichols in our prep for the UConn game. And
Mhm.
what more can we say? 24/7, 24.7 points, 4.0 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 2.3 steals a game.
Mhm.
Ty Nichols has been unbelievable. But we really need to talk about Marcus Azor. First of all, I
Mhm.
remember you telling me in the original QCast where we prepped this season's
Mhm.
games on July 3rd, and you said Marcus Azor can get up there and dunk it on you. And that tip dunk he had off of the baseline out of bounds, um, like I don't know what his actual height is. I can't remember what he's listed. I know he's
Like
6 foot.
6'2".
Yeah,
It's
six
like
two,
6'2".
6'2", just went up I think one-handed dunk. For talk to me about that first of all before I get a little more into Marcus. Like that was a freaky play.
That's just him being him. Like we like I he just so I've seen it now for 3 years in TBT. If you don't box him out and like he's gonna crash and boof it on you. I've seen it now a couple times. Last year he had one, year before he had one against Kansas. Um, but he's got long wings.
He does.
So
Yeah.
like, and he's got big hands. Like he like shakes my hand and he like makes me feel like a baby,
Yeah.
like that types of stuff. So, having him inbound the ball and things like that, having him create, I think, he obviously missed a layup, but like he just came in and crammed it. That's just him being him. He's so savvy, for the ball. Um, but I think that's everybody is like, oh, and then all of a sudden he dunks on a break, and everybody's like, oh, like I've been seeing it for a while. Like he's crazy athletic. And I think like what's crazy with him and this group is they're just entering their prime.
Yeah.
They're still like Marcus he's a great shooter. He didn't have that in college. He was
Right.
not like that in college. He didn't have the jump shot in college.
Right.
I mean, he had a pull up, but like now he's threes and he's just more comfortable, in his skin, and just him and Ty. playing off of one another along with Underwood. Like, pick your poison, dude. You
Yeah,
know?
so Marcus in 3 games now, 14.7 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.0 steals, incredible stat line. That last game I felt like was his game. Like
Mhm,
if he doesn't step up, I think we lose that game. He
mhm,
was incredible from start to finish in that thing.
mhm,
And boy, he hit some big shots late. Like he hit a three where it was things were getting a little dicey, and it's
mhm,
like, hey, we're gonna win this. Like
mhm,
when he hit that, it's like we're gonna find a way to win this.
mhm.
Um, Overall, when you look at your guards, I know that you're on record 5 different places saying you've got the best guards. Um, it's played out. When you combine the stat line of Ty, Marcus, and Demetrius hasn't had an eye-popping game yet. I think he's going to.
Oh, he will.
You really truly anyone that thought you were saying crazy things,
Mhm.
it's playing out, right? It's like your guards are fantastic.
Well, when and people who know me, right? And you know me, but people think like on the surface, like when I say things like that in apples absolutes, they think I'm just like joshing and being crazy. I genuinely believe it. Um, and I loved it how Mark D'Amelio for Stars of Storrs just commented on, one of the things I got posted saying like I was, the best backcourt in TBT, and he just commented, "Relax." I'm pretty much relaxing right now, that's for sure. So I mean, like not for nothing, like a bunch of D3 guys took down Boatwright and Cole and things like that. I think they just place hard. Like other teams may have better guards in terms of scoring. They may have better guards in terms of defense. When I say best backcourt in TBT, I'm saying both sides of the ball.
Sure.
And I think like, they're very crafty stealing the ball. They're very crafty defending. They all three can shoot the three. All three can get to the rim. And all three want to win and compete hard. So when you factor all those in, I believe it. And I think, people forget Demetrius Underwood is pretty much why we beat Sweet Home Alabama 2 years or
Right.
last year. He hit the Elam Ender. He had like
He was
24
incredible.
points. It was incredible. So, but that's one of those things where beauty of the roster, it seems like every game somebody new steps up. Like I thought game one against Lane's Hope, I thought Marcus was great for 3 quarters. And then Ty took over in the fourth. Ty had a great game against Bayheim's Army. Marcus had a great game against Stars of Storrs, but we're supplanting that with some new guys every game, whether it be Willoughby, Parker,
Yeah.
Peak, Underwood. It's kind of Murray. It's kind of crazy to kind of it's just really fun, really fun.
So here we are in the Elite Eight. You're one win away from being in the Final Four of this
Mhm,
thing, and you've got Fail Harder
mhm,
tomorrow. So Sunday night, that's 6 p.m. local time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. You're in Wichita.
mhm,
Fail Harder is a 7 seed. We're a 4 seed.
mhm,
Now, what I would say is in digging into them and looking at them,
mhm.
in my opinion, I throw the seeds out because we've been the wrong seed a lot of times.
Yep.
I throw the seed out. I don't care. There are 7. There's probably people looking at this like they got by Syracuse and UConn, and now they play a 7 seed. So this is the easiest game. I believe this is the best team that we've played when you look at the personnel, how
Mhm,
they're playing, how they play together.
mhm,
I think it's similar teams. It's a team made up of Division 2 guys,
mhm,
1 or 2 Division 1 guys, a few Division 1 guys actually.
mhm.
Um, and I'll go through a couple of their guys, but do you see it that way, Mike? Like I feel like that no one should go into this thinking because they're a 7 seed that this game is somehow easier than the last two.
No, we're playing ourselves.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, I, I firmly believe that they are exactly made up like us. They run, they got a long time D3 head coach and Guy Neal on the bench with his son being the head coach. He coached for like a bajillion years at Bluffton, had a great coaching career there, really respected in the coaching community. So they run sets. They run a lot of good stuff, good action. They have a great player in Adams. They have a good off guard. And they got bigs and that are kind of versatile. We are playing ourselves. It is like D3 versus D3 2.0.
Right.
And they've had a great run against some heavy hitters as well. That I think very similar to us have underestimated them. I think they play extremely hard. Uh, and I think it's going to be an absolute war. But I think what I've seen, I've watched a lot of film. Scout report's done for like about a couple days now. Um, but I think we got some things that we can do that I think will kind of that I know hurts us. That I think we can do well in kind of pressuring them into.
Their guy so
Mhm.
far through this tournament has been Darius Adams. He's a
Yep.
6'2" point guard. He
Mhm.
plays 35 minutes a game, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. He is a product of Division II University of Indianapolis.
Mhm.
And he's a ton, right? And like you mentioned, he's similar to your guards.
Mhm.
What have you seen? What can you tell us in what you've watched with this Darius Adams character?
He's a 36-year-old vet that is an absolute killer.
Yeah,
He's just very savvy in pick and roll situations. He knows when to put guys in jail off the dribble. Can score at will. Like I know he's been, a scoring champ, overseas a couple different leagues in Japan and Europe. Like I've watched him a lot. Like he's one of those players like he's gonna get his.
right.
Like it's just it's like with Ty. Ty's gonna get his. Um, so like obviously, you can put in schemes against him, but quite frankly, they're not gonna work. Like he's
Yeah,
he's that good of a player. So I've been very, like I said, they're made up like us. And what's interesting is he went to University of Indianapolis. They got several guys from University of Indianapolis. So you
they
talk
do.
about program building, right?
Yeah,
These are guys that are familiar with one another, so they're comfortable with what they do as a team, which they're not an all-star team put together. Like these are guys that know each other,
yeah,
that are very that play off each other very well. They're cutting well off each other. They're doing one mores. They know where guys are going to be in their spots. Um, so I've been very impressed by them, and I think that the seating doesn't mean crap. The seating doesn't mean crap. Like there
right.
was a graphic that got posted that I had to laugh about top players to watch in Syracuse, and every team had a player listed except for us. Every team, even the Brown Ballers in Vermont, and everybody had one. And I was like, cool, thanks for the support, guys. But it's like, but I think they've kind of played with a similar chip on their shoulder like we have. I think they're not afraid of anybody, and they play with confidence, and that's what gets you wins in the TBT for sure.
They have 3 guys. They play 8 guys, and 3 of them are from University of Indianapolis.
Hmm.
And you look at this also, and they've got a kid from Marion, and I think Marion's an NAI, and they've
Hmm.
got Southern Indiana, Morehead State, 2 Morehead States,
Hmm.
and then a kid from D1 Nebraska. I'm guessing from looking at like geographically where these kids are from, where these guys are from, because there's some that aren't kids, right? I'm guessing
Yeah.
where they're from, that they probably have known each other, or most of them have played with each other. And wanted to ask you, there's this other guy. I can't pronounce this guy's last name. They got a 7-footer,
Hmm.
coach, Reginald Kisunyal. I'm not sure if I'm
That's
saying
a
that.
good job of pronouncing it.
Is it?
Kasunio. Yep.
Because okay, 11 points, 4 rebounds. This is the
Hmm.
guy from NAI Marion. I think
Hmm.
Marion's NAI.
Hmm.
Um, what do we know? I mean, 7 feet is 7 feet. What do we know about this dude?
Um, Very good around the rim. Um, she likes to pick and pop a lot. He's a very good player, plays with a lot of energy, rebounding. I think top to bottom, their team plays with a lot of energy. He comes in and it's like, boom, the game changes. Like he's that type of player. Very gifted. One of those one of those players will like I'm like, dude, why isn't he playing in a higher league than what he is? So like I'm looking forward to competing against Reginald. He talks a ton, which is great. I love players that do that. Because him and I are gonna have fun together. But I think he's a very talented player, can shoot the three, can finish around the rim. Our bigs are gonna have our work cut out for them.
Yeah, they've got they're D1 guys. Nebraska, two from Morehead State, and yeah, I believe that's the group there. I guess Southern Indiana is now Division One,
Don't
aren't they?
forget, don't forget Earlham.
Yeah,
Earlham represented on that roster.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's good to see a little D3 love in there
Mhm.
too. And so yeah, this is a very similar roster and team. And I would just encourage people that I would assume going into this is our toughest game to date when you really add everything up.
Mhm.
Just a couple more before we let you go. How are the guys doing? Everyone get there to Wichita. We all
Yeah,
good?
everybody's
They're ready to
good.
roll?
Yeah, everybody's good. We got practice this afternoon, team meal afterwards, watching a little bit of film. It's like you're in NCAA tournament mode. Where it's not like the practices. You're just tightening some things up, maybe toss a wrinkle here, wrinkle there, but it's nothing like reinventing the wheel. Um, we got shoot around tomorrow, and we're gonna get some treatment, and then kind of game time types of stuff. I like us the fact that we're the first game. Just kind of logistically, I like being able to take the court earlier.
Yeah.
My OCD kicks in, so like that's good. But yeah, no, everybody's feeling good. Everybody's got we all went home for a day and then we all were like, all right, cool in
Yeah.
Wichita, so it's like we got some family, we got to see family for about 24 hours and then we came back here to kind of get it done.
And then final question, just in terms of supporting the crew, I've been seeing some of those awesome shirts that are out. Like I can
Yeah.
get myself like a Hank Morgan shirt, which is phenomenal, or like a tie, like the silencer.
Yeah.
If people buy those shirts, do those help the guys out in the
Yeah.
program, or tell us how we help?
Yeah, it's almost like NIL stuff. So like, portion of it goes to mercenary apparel, portion of it goes towards the guys, portion of it goes towards us. It's almost like we split it like three ways.
Sure.
And I think like that's where we've learned as a program logistically what needs to happen financially to make this work. So we got that going on. We got the GoFundMe going on. We got the money, like the money that we won from TBT winning that game against Stars of Storrs, that goes towards planes and hotels to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's like gone. It's like to make sure that like we take care of the guys the right way. We're all staying here, nice hotel Fairfield here in Wichita, and we got right now they're actually at a meal right now. But I wanted to watch some more film and obviously hang out with you.
Of course.
And so but they the GoFundMe's still kind of going on. That's been great. The gear's been great. FAFSA motivated shirts have been flying off the shelves. And then whenever this ride ends and hopefully we ride it all the way to the last stop, we'll kind of reassess everything. And, fortunately for us, I think the combine, I'm not going to have to beg people to come to it anymore. Hopefully they realize kind of, what we did and there. And I think, I look for, maybe we can get a sponsorship from Flo Sports, you and I, so that we don't have to pay to watch games.
I hope so.
That, that'd be nice,
Yeah.
as voters.
I've been a little critical though. I don't know if anyone from Flow is going to hook me up. It's going to have to be some undercover stuff, but
I
I
think
trust
we're
myself.
both going to have to do that because, like it's like ridiculous. Like really, we're selling our soul for 30K divided amongst like seven teams.
So
Come on.
I haven't talked to you about this. You're with me on that, right? Is that big picture that's stupid, right?
I think it's the dumbest thing ever. And I think like this is where I'm gonna get on my I'm gonna get on my soapbox here.
Preach, Reg. It's all
But
yours.
I
Preach.
think like this is where administrators in the conferences have lost touch of what of what we're trying to accomplish as a division and as conferences and things on those lines. We struggle for awareness. This is why we do TBT and the combine and things
Right.
like that, to bring awareness, right? Why are we deterring people from coming into our circle?
It's silly.
It's absolutely silly. And I understand, like, all these schools, like, we all have to do fundraising. It
Sure.
is what it is, right? I think basketball coaches and football coaches and the bigger sports do a great job fundraising. I think other sports that aren't accustomed to it, I think they need to pick up the slack, because for us as a division, I think like the cut is like at the end of the day, it's going to be like 30K
Yeah,
or something like that. I saw,
it is.
versus, and you split that amongst the teams, so that even gets further watered down.
Yeah.
And like it blows my mind that conferences have thought that they've been presented a bill of goods and it looks good maybe on paper, but in terms of big picture scenario, you are drastically hurting the exposure of the division and the athletes that we so-called care about.
Yeah.
And if I was a part of one of those conferences, I would personally find a way to fundraise and hand out like free memberships then. Because like it's we're trying to get players, families want to watch their kids. Uh how are you going to do your job recruiting? You're now going to have to, download the film and send it out individually.
Or try to get a password to every single kid you're recruiting or something
It's
difficult.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like ridiculous. And now I just feel like these conferences almost like made a deal with the devil, and I know the toothpaste is out a little bit, but I think I hope I get proven wrong, but on my gut says this is absolutely crazy town, and I feel like we're gonna the negatives outweigh the positives.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been vocal on Twitter. I was interviewed by the Wash U student newspaper 2 days ago, and never thought I'd be interviewed by the Wash U student newspaper, but it's happened twice in the last 12 months. But
Go Bears.
yeah, go Bears. I'll just say this is it. I understand that the schools right now, Division III schools need revenue. There's no question about that. I don't
Mhm.
dispute that. But you got to look at the big picture, and this is Division III. The division needs exposure, and your school needs exposure, and your athletic programs need exposure. Period. You can't
Mhm.
argue with that.
Mhm.
It's not worth, unless Flo starts paying way more, then I'll start to change my tune way more.
Way
But it's
more.
not worth shutting people out. The casual fan will
Mhm.
not buy a subscription. They won't. So your parents
Nope.
are gonna, the kids are going to school for thousands of dollars. They're gonna have to pay for it.
Mhm.
And diehard fans, I'll pay. No
Mhm.
problem. I'm not worried about me and people like me. I'm worried about the casual fan that
Mhm.
flips around on a Saturday,
Mhm.
because a lot of us are tweeting about the
Yep.
Wash U game and
Yep.
the Pomona Pitzer game, and people are just rifling through and watching these programs. You have people that are like high school coaches, AAU coaches,
Mhm.
people that influence college decisions that are now shut out.
Mhm.
And I hope at some point people take a look at the big picture here. It may be just the train has left the station and this is how it works. It may be, but like Illinois Wesleyan sent a tweet yesterday, to support our free broadcast, here's
Mhm.
some options for you. Do you want to advertise? Do you want to donate?
Yep.
I hope that schools take the CCIW approach, which is how do we do it for free
Yep.
until they absolutely can't. So
And everything costs money, right? We
for
understand that,
sure,
right? But and I know SIDs work very hard. I understand that as well. But like look at us. Okay, let's just take our TBT run here. You mean to tell me the casual fan would have paid money to watch us play Lane's Hope?
yeah, no way,
No. Would
no
they have
way.
paid us Bayheim's Army? No, just the guys in the stands that bought a Coors Light and just wanted to chill and watch Bayheim's Army rock
Yeah,
on a Saturday. Same thing with UConn. Like it is the amount of notes that I've received and the players have received and my staff received about, wow, didn't realize this. Very impressed by this. Very happy. Congrats. Da 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 da. That doesn't happen if that's behind a paywall.
Correct.
And and I we could go on this on a whole nother podcast, but I have a feeling within the next like 5 to 10 years, I think Division Ones, their division might stay the same. Division twos will cease to exist. Division three will grow, but then there's going to be an influx of the haves and the have-nots even further
Yeah.
of Division three. And I think like that's where we're at I feel like a very crucial juncture right now
Yep.
with the cost of school, with the divisions and how they're shaking out, NIL portal stuff.
Sure.
We are at a very influx or fork in the road here for the division. And I think people aren't realizing it. You realize it, I realize it, others realize it. But I feel like we could go one way, we can go the other way,
Right.
and it'd
But
be interesting to see.
the path that limits exposure, because these
Mhm.
schools, Mike, and then I'll ask for your final thoughts today, is
Yep.
that these schools are becoming 40-50% student athletes. Illinois Wesleyan this
Mhm.
year will be probably 50% student athletes. So the average kid coming to Illinois Wesleyan now is, a Chicago suburb kid that's coming to
Mhm.
play lacrosse or football or basketball, softball, volleyball. And so if you take your school and limit exposure to these games, I think you are really doing a disservice to your business model currently. And again,
100%.
yeah,
My
well,
dad says this all the
yeah,
time. And shout out to John Big Papa Rejniak, but he says the athletics is the front porch of the university.
absolutely.
Straight up. And you are now going to limit butts and beds. And now that then it goes to tuition, you're going to have to raise tuition because you're not going to get the application numbers and blah blah blah, and then it's just this domino effect. I just think you're limiting the amount of good things that a university can provide because they'll be the first ones to promote a student athlete going doing community service. They'll be the first ones to
Right.
promote, somebody being an All-American. They'll be the first ones to promote the great GPAs that they all have, but you're limiting the amount to get that high quality talent
Yeah. No, no,
in through the
no
front
alum
door.
is tuning in to watch chemistry class. They're tuning in
No,
to watch a basketball game. Right. So,
100%.
well,
100%.
so folks, we are D3 is just on an incredible run, playing great, and they have a big game tomorrow in the Elite Eight. They win this third, they're in the final four of TBT, and the game is against Fail Harder, 7 seed, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. local tomorrow in Wichita. This has been QCast all time episode 200. It's been a pleasure to have Mr. Rejniak. Mike, I'm going to have to check where you rank in the all time viewers because it used to be like Ron Rose, Mike Shower, because he was the committee chair.
Yeah.
You've been on 3 times in July. You've been on 4 times, 5 times before. Is it possible I've built a podcast where you're the most frequent guest? Is that possible?
I don't know. Maybe we could do a featuring Coach Reg line at the bottom. Um, no, I just like really appreciate kind of. I remember when you first started it, I thought it was great, and you've kept it going with the amount of athletes that you've had on. Like you having Justin Hardy on,
Yeah.
that's one that sticks out. The Illinois Wesleyan guys, like I love when you chop it up with Ron. I think that's great. Having these All-Americans and players come
Yeah.
on, on both sides, which is great. I love kind of, I got the personnel with you, and I got all the analytics with the D3
Yeah. Oh
DataCast
yeah.
guys that are like way smarter than me, and I'm like, okay, cool. And we got the D3 hoop stories kind of going on, but it's been very cool to see your growth and what kind
Appreciate
of
that.
what you've been doing, and I'm just appreciative that you'll have me.
Well, I mean, we're all fired up right now, man. We've had I mentioned to you after the Bayheim's Army win that maybe that was the greatest night, in D3 history. And then you do it again, right? With the Yukon win. Every time you guys take the floor now, we have one of those moments where the whole nation, and there's more because the casual of us, we were in from the first game.
Yep.
Now everyone's in. Everyone's like, wow. So you've got D3 Nation behind you. I know the guys feel that. Um, and it's just going to be really fun Sunday. So I encourage everyone to tune in. If you can't get there, tune in Sunday, 6 o'clock local. We are D3 versus Fail Harder. Folks, that was season or episode number 200 of the QCast. Mike Rejniak, Coach Reg. Let's keep winning, baby.
Let's what is it? I'm not gonna say the word, but it's like the end of Major League. Let's just win the whole
You could say
thing.
it. This is QCast. You could say whatever you want.
Let's just win the whole fucking thing.
That was my tweet. It reminded me of you. I gave you a shout out, folks. That's Coach Reg. Let's go win it, baby.
Let's go win it.